Hello, everyone. I'm Bonnie Low-Kramen, and I'd like to welcome you to Heads Together. It is Wednesday, February 24th, 2021, and today is a very special day, as every Wednesday is when we get together like this and we have an international party, it seems, streaming live. Today is the final episode that in the Black History Month series. And each Wednesday this month, I have invited a very special guest, and today is no exception. Today, I have invited not only a colleague who I deeply respect and admire, but she is also a dear friend, Lizzie Jean Nandjui. I promised her that I would try very hard not to butcher a French accent. So I will try hard not to, but Lizzie is in France. I want to welcome our listeners and our viewers from all over the world. Come on into the party. Hello, Deborah from Belgium and Michelle from Minnesota. We're really happy you're here for this last episode for Black History Month. This month has just really taught me a great deal. We've had some amazing conversations on these Wednesdays about racism and discrimination and the Black Lives Matter movement and why these issues are important to discuss, in that they are impacting our day-to-day work in the workplace, in companies all over the world, not only in America, but all over the world is what we have found. So welcome, come on in. Hello, Liz from Boston. Happy to have you here. Today, and you'll notice that Jen is not with me today. She had a personal matter that she is attending to. So I am being assisted today by Robert Sanders, who's behind the scenes, and I am giving him a shout out, and I'm so grateful for his assistance. I feel just like every executive whose assistant can't be there, and then it's, okay, so now what do we do? Today's guest is Lizzie Jean Nandjui. Lizzie and I have known each other since 2014. We remembered. We were struggling to remember how we first met because we've been at events all over the world. She's been in New Jersey with me. We've been in Paris. We've been in London. Lizzie has been an assistant for 26 years. Most recently, she worked for the pharmaceutical firm called Sanofi in Paris, and she was a very high-level executive assistant. But there's so many interesting things about Lizzie Jean, and she certainly invites you to link in with her to connect, because she is just a wealth of information. Lizzie is the youngest of 11 children. And wow, I mean, just that fact alone just makes her fascinating. She was born and grew up on the Ivory Coast of Africa. And at age 17, she wanted to get away from all those brothers and sisters. And so she ended up moving to France, and I believe the north of France, and then she eventually went to Paris. So she went far away from the Ivory Coast, but she's been in France for a long time, but every year visits the Ivory Coast. She is a born leader. When we first met, I will never forget that when you meet Lizzie, she's not a loud person and she's not a very tall person, which will be hard to see on StreamYard. But when she came to be the ultimate assistant, when she spoke, everybody listened. She's one of those people who commands attention. She's simply a born leader. And so it was no surprise that in 2014, when we met in Paris, she became a member of IMA, the International Management Association, and then she ran for chairman of France, and of course became chairman of the French organization arm of IMA. And she did some amazing work. as an assistant there. So there's a very interesting fact about Lizzie, which I'll tell you about more in a bit, and we're going to hear more about it. Lizzie Jean was the first virtual worker in France in 1995. The first one in France. And so now in March of 2020, we have all these people working from home and calling them virtual workers and remote workers. And Lizzie Jean was the first one to do it in 1995. Let us give a nice virtual welcome. Lizzie Jean Nandjui.
Hello.
Hello.
Everybody. Nice to see you. Nice to meet you too.
It is so great to see you, Lizzie. Lizzie, we talk all the time. So Lizzie, as has been our custom these last few weeks, I want to welcome to the show, and I want to ask you some quick questions so our audience can get to know you a little better. Is that okay?
Yes.
All right. So you've traveled the world. What city do you love the most in America?
New York.
New York City.
Yeah.
I think I knew the answer to that one. What's your favorite kind of food?
My favorite food. Oh, my favorite food. I like fish.
You
fish.
like
fish.
Okay. I thought you were going to say French food, and then in France you just call that food.
Yeah. Right? French food, yes, we can do that.
So when travel is safe again, where's the first place you're going to go?
Ivory Coast.
You're going to go home. You're going to go visit your family.
Your parents, yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite dessert?
Mango.
Mango. Fresh mango, the fruit.
Fresh mango, yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. If you could have only one book on a desert island, what would it be?
Bible, the Bible.
Oh. What's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie, James Bond.
You love James. Who's your favorite
James Bond?
Who's your favorite James Bond?
Oh, I know all of them, and I like all of them.
You like all of them. You're an equal opportunity James Bond fan. Okay. I have to say Sean Connery is probably my favorite.
But yes, it was the first one, but I like all of them.
What's your favorite beverage?
Tea.
Tea.
Yeah.
And tell us one thing that's not on your LinkedIn profile.
My address. My personal address.
I've been lucky enough to be at your home, so I know that it's really lovely. Okay, so Lizzie, there's so much to talk about here, and we have viewers from all over the United States and the world. If anyone listening to this wants to put in a comment, a question, Lizzie will be taking questions. So we're going to talk about a few things first. And Emer is writing in from Ireland. Remember her? She was in your class in New York City. No, in London. Right, Emer? My gosh, I get them all mixed up now. Okay. So Lizzie, we talked about how in 1995, you were the first teleworker in all of France. You had 3 children. You told me earlier you had a job that was a 2.5-hour commute from home, right? Yeah. So when Lizzie and I were talking about this in the last few days, Lizzie said, I need to talk to you. And she said, there's somebody I want to come on to Heads Together to help me tell this story. So can we please welcome Lizzie's oldest child, her daughter, her lovely daughter, who's a doppelganger of Lizzie, Karen Jean.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Karen. Today's the first day I ever got to set eyes on you. You are just so lovely. You're prettier than your pictures.
Thank you.
So, Lizzie, is there any way you want to set this up for Karen, or how did it happen that you were the first one in France to be a teleworker?
because I could not see my children anymore, working so away from my home, and I had 3 children waiting for me at home. I was fed up. And one day I said, I need to create my own job and I want to work from home. It just started with that.
And did it ever occur to you then that they might fire you? If you threw out that idea, they might just say, then don't work here.
No, it was not a question even for me. And you know what? The company where I was working was called Matra Communication, and they were selling these special phones where you can, from all over the world, they sell it. When you have to standard, you can take every call from anywhere, and they were the company who were selling this autocommutator, we call it. So I said, why I can do that from home? It
And
just
you
in my head, and that like crazy.
And you pitched the idea, and did they say yes immediately? Or did they say, wow, that's an interesting idea, I think we better think about that? Or
they said it is, yes, it's interesting, but they didn't think that I would do it. But I just thought, I arrive at home, and Karen will tell you the story because I could not see my children.
So Karen, you were 16.
Yes.
Tell us what you remember.
Yeah. So yes, I remember I was a teenager, like around 16 years old, and I said by my mom, she was working. She was head of a retirement home. So that means that she needed to stay several days and sometimes even several weeks, really far from home. And it was sometimes really difficult for us because I have 2 young brothers. And for sure, it was difficult for my mom also. So that's why sometimes in the weekend we came just to see her, to say hi, and to come back home. But yes, at the end it was really, really difficult. And yes, I remember when she said, "No, it's not possible. So I need to find something new, something different," because I remember she wanted to improve the work-life balance and to still working because she's really a hard worker, but she wanted to see us more. And she said, okay, so that meant I need to work at home. And I was 16, I said, okay, working at home is like you are doing the homework. It was something really, I haven't heard anything about it, but I said, okay, why not? And then I remember that she decided to do a really deep skill assessment to check what kind of activity she could do at home. And then she decided to work on to build a company with telephone support and communication. And that's how it started. And yes, so it was really something new, the teleworking, but yes, it's how it happened. And then I remember really well because she decided to involve all the family and to find a nice name for the company. And the winner was Subtelcom. Everybody was really happy with that name. And after, it was something else. We needed to find a good logo, nice logo for the company also. And from the top of my head, it was like a circle, not a circle, but an oval yellow and a border blue. And inside it was written Subtelcom. And then we say, yeah, that's a good one.
So what does that word mean, Karen?
So Subtelcom, it was for sup. Sup in France is suppléance, so it's assistance. And tel, it was for telecommunication. So Subtelcom and com for communication.
So the message to you kids was that your mom was taking great pride in her work.
Yes, absolutely.
And did you have to, do you remember in your house your mom having a dedicated space for her office,
Yes.
and that you kids had to, if mom was on the phone or, like, were there rules?
Yeah, so at the beginning we said, okay, she will work at home. So that means she needs to have a room to work.
Yeah.
And we had only 3 rooms. So the living room, my room, and my 2 brothers had their own room, and my parents for sure. And I said, okay, oh my God. So that means maybe I will need to give my room and be with my brother, for example. And no, at the end, she decided to make everything in the corridor because it was pretty big, pretty large. So enough space to have everything, the printer, the screen, everything.
So that
it was in the
changed a
corridor.
lot. It changed
Yes.
everything for your family. That
Yes.
all of a sudden mom went from being away all the time to being around all the time.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And it was really, really nice because we're able to see her every day.
Wow. So,
and when I started,
what's that?
What happened when I started? We distributed every.
Oh yes, yeah. So now the company is born, Subtelcom, but now we need to find the customers. So the next step was for my mom to prepare some letters, some couriers. And I remember she was preparing some tailored letters to potential customers. And depending on the activity of these customers, she was sending some tailored proposal of activity she can support. And then to support, because I was really happy to help, I was just helping to fold the letters, to put the stamps, and to drop the courier to the at the post office.
Right.
But in fact, it was for maybe some weeks, but not so much. And then everything went extremely fast, really. And we had the first customer interested coming. And what was nice is that all the customers were totally different. Really different. Sometimes wanted to have some documents formatting, like for the PowerPoints. Sometimes they wanted to have some mailings sent in email or in paper.
Right.
So again, I was able to to prepare some letters also. And sometimes they needed to have some telephonic assistance.
Right.
And for this, I remember really well because when I was in vacations, sometimes my mom needed to go to customers meeting outside. So I was like the backup to receive the calls. So we had the famous phone. It was called auto commuting.
Yeah.
And when someone was calling, it was possible to see the name of the people expected to receive the call.
Yeah.
So, and I really remember because I needed to speak really clearly. So I used to train in my bedroom. And because one of the customer, I remember it was a lawyer and her name was really, really difficult to pronounce. And I said, okay, I need to train because it's really important to be sure that I will pronounce it really correctly. And when it was ringing, I said, oh my God, it's for her. Okay. And I needed to say, Maître Fauchepelas, bonjour. Comment est-ce que je peux vous aider? And in English, it is Master blah, blah, blah. Good morning. How can I help you? And yes. And at the end of the day, when my mom came back home, I just needed to provide a summary of all the calls, the contacts received within the day, the time. And yes, I was really, really happy to do this and to support. Yes.
And, Karen, you are now a clinical lead at a pharmaceutical firm, and you are 40 years old. And this was when you were 16. I'm very struck by how clear and these memories are for you. And so for people listening on the call, I think it's important for us to notice, like, our children are watching. They're watching closely.
Yes, we are watching everything.
Lizzie, does it surprise you that Karen remembers this with such
vivid
detail?
Yes. I was really shocked. She told me on the phone, I said, even me, I forgot so many things. And she was telling me, no, you did that, you did that. Now you have to tell people because you are the best person to tell them because I can't do the same.
So Karen, would it be accurate to say that that experience when you were 16 and thereabouts with mom at her company in your house, you use that experience now?
Yes.
You
yes,
do,
for
right?
sure. Yes, absolutely.
That attention to detail. I mean, you are your mother's daughter.
Yes.
So, well, thank you so much for sharing that. And I asked you hang in there with us because we've got other, we're going to go on to other subjects unless either of you have anything else to say about the idea that Lizzie was such a groundbreaker of being the first teleworker in all of France in 1995. And here we are in 2021 and everybody's doing it. Lizzie, anything else to say about that?
I'm really proud of my daughter because I could not even remind all these things. And I'm happy that I know immediately what I have to do now, today, with what is happening now. We are back to the same place.
Amazing. Amazing that when you told me that you were the first one, I'm like, oh my, and over all these years, you know, we, in your work with IMA, France, and my work all around the world and mainly in America, that, you know, assistants have known for a long time that to work from home is a good idea. But now, of course, everybody's doing it.
And, you know, I have even been invited in the television, you know, everywhere. And even at the executive committee of electricity local electricity.
So they interviewed you about the experience.
Them how I was working and to tell them how they can also do the job.
Gosh. So the lesson, of course, is if you have a great idea about how to do something better, then to share it, to pitch it. And then look what Lizzie did. Her 2.5-hour commute turned into nothing, and her kids clearly benefited from that, even though it was a little dangerous thinking you might have to give up your room, Karen, but good for you for, you know, being open to that. All right. So we started by talking about that this is Black History Month. And Lizzie, when you and I were first talking about this subject, you shared something that really shocked me. You know, so you're aware of the subject of race and what's going on in America and the United States this year. And you told me that, you know, you moved to France at age 17 and you made a statement. You said, Bonnie, I didn't know I was Black until I was 19.
I was, yes.
And it happened in school. And I asked you, when was that? I mean, like, what happened? Could you share with our audience what happened? You know, that you made the point that in Africa, when you were growing up on the Ivory Coast, there was despite apartheid, the way you were brought up, you did not think of color, and it didn't even enter your brain until age 19 in France.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that?
Even today, I don't see my color, and I don't see the colors of people. If I meet somebody and you ask me, this person was Black or white, I would have to think.
You have to think about it.
To say, oh, yes or no, or even I don't remember. And Karen has the same. She behaves the same way. So it is. So
it's very much about how you're raised.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, could you briefly tell us what happened in school, though?
In school, it was the first day in the university, and the director was making some words, you know, and all of a sudden he said, "Oh, the small Black, don't repeat that. Don't repeat that." And I was in the middle of how much as maybe 600 people So, and he was still saying, and I saw that he's looking around me. I said, maybe is somebody around me? I see nobody. Is he coming to me and telling me, Black people, don't repeat that. This is, so I look myself and say, I'm not Black. This is the first time I heard in my life that I was Black.
Right. And so that was in France. And then, you worked with IMA. You've known many, many, many assistants all over the world. And I mean, clearly, you're not a kid. You are very well aware that racism exists.
Exactly.
What do you say to and certainly in France, it's a problem. What do you say to assistants who are Black in France who have had racism, smack them, more powerfully than fortunately you didn't have that. What do you tell them? What is your best advice for them when assistants encounter that, Lizzie?
When I just tell them that, if you come in your office to work, you come with your competencies, your skills, but not with your color. So I said, when I go to my work, I feel like I am Lizzie Jane, executive assistant. That's it. I have that competencies. That's it. I don't think, or I don't see my color. I don't see my friend or my boss color. So I believe if you think like this, or you don't see yourself as a different person, people see you as you are. But if you see, oh yes, but last day this person, he was Black or he was white, and no, I never talk about colors, or I never see colors, so I can't talk. So I really ask assistant to just show their skills, show who they are, do the job, and that's it.
And, over these years that we've known each other, you have been bullied. It's not that you don't know what some negative behaviors are,
yes,
but it's from hearing you talk, it doesn't seem like you attribute it to race.
No.
Can you talk about that?
You are right, Bonnie. I never thought about racism, never. But I heard after that, when it started, my first place to go was at the infirmary of the company. And I just told the doctor what happened. And he was like, I know this person. And I said, then you know who he is. Then you know that it's not a good person. Is it only for me? I'm not sure. And I heard other people started that this day. Other people talked to me about this person. I was not the first one. That time, I decided that it will either him or me to leave the company. So everything, I was really bullied. I lost weight. I was like,
I remember you paid a very high price.
Yes. And in fact, there were maybe, I'm even sure that there was something bullying about my color. But you know what? It was not the most important for me. I didn't know what was important. I was hurt in my heart. This was what is important. I wanted him to be fired, and he was fired. He was fired. And HR, after that, when he was about to be fired, they told me, we will change. You will go to another place. I said, no, I don't want. They say, yes, you have to. It's okay now. Now we have everything to do our job. They did their job. He was fired, and 3 other executives were fired behind him. And I'm so proud of that. So proud. But I tell you, I was really sick. You could not even recognize me. My sister was coming to visit me, and when she saw me, she said, she's a doctor. She said, you stay at home now until you recover.
Yeah.
But I was happy because he didn't succeed. So if you are a Black person, if somebody wants to bully you, it is because you accept what he's telling to you. Why? You know who you are. Why should you understand or agree what he's saying against you? Why?
So, but you're certainly aware that many HR departments and doctors at companies, they don't all do the right thing, right?
Yes. Yeah, but they were sure that I would not shut up. That's it.
And wow, what a lesson there. Karen, do you have anything to add to that by any chance? I'm just wondering. I'm watching your face. What are you thinking?
I'm just thinking I'm really proud of my mom.
But it took a lot for Lizzie to speak up and to stand up and to go do the right thing. And I mean, I hope, I was one of many people to encourage you to say, no, if we don't say what's going on, then the problem will just continue, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I am sure that it was about my color. But yes, I am sure. Yes, but people don't want to say that to me. I was sure.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter for me because I don't feel just Lizzie.
Right. Okay. So when you look ahead, you've known so many assistants all over the world. When, here we have this pandemic, we've got people working from home. When you look at the profession, Lizzie, you've been in leadership. What are you excited about and what are you worried about? Give us some of your sense of where do you think this is all heading as a profession? Given that we still have a bullying issue and blah, blah, blah.
So first, what I feel is that the role is again changing. Everything is changing, and we will be back to the beginning always, to start again, because we will, we will work from home, and it is not, it is normal. We had it already. We are back to it. What I know is that assistants are not changing. They are still the same. They still have the same skills, the same power. So the assistant will survive that. They are strong enough. They know the job. They will help everybody to change for this change. Yes, it is just, for me, it's just a change, a move.
Right. And so your advice for assistants listening to this, what do you say to them?
I will ask them just to follow the wave. Follow the wave. Just move with it, and you will get there. Don't think, wow, what will happen to me? Things are changing. No, assistant role will never disappear. Will never.
They need us. They need assistance. Yeah. So Elusa is sending you big hugs from Brazil. We've got Lorraine from England on the call, and Linda is here. It's wonderful. Lizzie, you have a big crowd of international fans here. Karen, do you have any last comments that you would want this audience to know and share?
Oh, just to add that it's really interesting because currently with this pandemic, every companies are moving to the teleworking. And for many companies and many people, it's like it's something brand new or something really modern. And sometimes it makes me smile because I'm just thinking that when I was a teenager, my mother was already doing teleworking. So it's like more than 20 years old, more than 20 years. Yes. So
yeah.
Yes.
It's like 24 years ago, Lizzie was paving the way. So again, everything old is new again.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're back to the same place.
Yeah. So
we need more to deal with that.
Yes.
So Lizzie is ready, willing, and able for you to connect with her on LinkedIn, as is Karen. Lizzie, you have been a mentor for so many assistants around the world. Thanks, Robert, for putting up Lizzie Jean's LinkedIn profile, and she welcomes you to connect with her. Lizzie is a very wise assistant and a wise human being. As one of 11, the youngest of 11 children, she had to learn a lot of life's lessons, and I constantly learn from you, Lizzie, and I'm so grateful for your friendship and your love, and for us to, be in each other's lives. So,
Bonnie, to you for all you are still doing for assistant, and you will never give up. I'm so
thank
proud
you.
to be your friend.
No, I will never give up. I am your mentor. You are mine. You don't necessarily know that, probably, but yes, you do. I wanted to thank everyone for being here on the show today as we close out Black History Month. This conversation has to continue. You might recall the very first Wednesday of the month when we spoke with Spencer Cassius, and he shared from Long Island that the conversation with me was the first time he'd ever spoken with a white person about race. And how can we ever solve anything if that is the case? So I know that this subject is a little tricky and messy and complicated, and we may not say the right words all the time, but that shouldn't stop us from having them, because in our workplace, we're working with such a diverse group. How can we not address and embrace and celebrate our differences?
Yeah.
Right? It just seems logical to me that it's about asking somebody's favorite dessert or their favorite movie, or, just all the kinds of questions that we can ask to meet each other, not on a basis of color, but about simply as human beings.
Human being. Yeah.
Right, Lizzie? Karen?
Yes.
So thank you for being here. I hope if you're interested in Ultimate Assistant training, which Lizzie has been to numerous times, and the conferences, go to betheultimateassistant.com. Vicki Evans and I are planning several events for 2021, and we'd love to have you involved. Just go to the calendar and you will see just all kinds of offerings. And of course, coming into your companies would be a joy. So please continue the conversation with Lizzie, with me, and join us next week when we kick off Women's History Month. March is Women's History Month, and we have an amazing lineup. And I'm so glad I remembered to say this. Next week, we're going to meet on Tuesday at 3 rather than Wednesday at 3, because Vicki and I are doing BTUAer next week on Thursday and Friday. So we're going to be on Heads Together Tuesday, March 2nd. Okay, so I hope you'll follow us there when we kick off Women's History Month. Another very important subject, considering that women are 95 to 98% of the assistant community in the world. So, Lizzie Jean, Karen Jean, mwah, thank you so much for being here. Robert, thank you for behind the scenes. Thank you all for being here. And I hope you learned at least 1 or 2 things that you can use immediately. Thank you. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.